It's not a good idea to do a video when I'm angry, but I'm angry. There's a lot of videos about from people saying that they know about the red heifer when they don't. My name is Adam Eliyahu Berkowitz. If you Google Adam Eliyahu Berkowitz, I've been writing for an organization called Israel 365. It used to be Breaking Israel News. I first started covering the red heifers 7 years ago. I am close with the Temple Institute. I am connected with them. I speak to them. I interview them. I am an Orthodox Jew. I learned in yeshiva for many years. I understand what the Maimonides Rambam calls the most complicated commandment in the Bible. I have the credentials to understand this. I'm not anti-Christian, but Christians do not understand this mitzvah unless they study the Jewish sources. The red heifer ceremony will not happen on Passover. There are no plans. It is a hugely complicated mitzvah. Everything has to be lined up in place, and it's not just the red cows.
So whether or not it's going to happen before Passover, I don't know, because these are things that are much higher than my pay grade, as they say. I think it's up to God, not up to us, to decide when it's going to happen. But it could happen. It definitely could happen.
Also, there has to be a kosher Kohen. We know who our Kohanim are. We know which Jews are of the priestly class. We've always known that. But we need to find one who has never been in a hospital, because if he was in the hospital, he got ritual impurity and is not kosher to perform the sacrifice. He has to be 15 years old, because slaughtering a full-grown cow is physically demanding. Hi, folks. This is Adam Eliyahu Berkowitz. I'm here with amazing news. The Temple Institute has just announced, literally 2 hours ago, that they have found a Kohen, a priest, who is certified, able to perform the red heifer ceremony. We've been covering this for a while. I've actually been covering it for 7 years. There's been a lot of news about it lately. Last week there was a red heifer conference that I was at. We've been discussing whether or not it would happen soon. One of the major obstacles was to find a kosher Kohen. The Jews have stringently kept the tradition of patrilineal descent from the biblical Aaron the priest, the priestly caste. So to find a Kohen is not a problem, but to find a Kohen kosher for the red heifer ceremony is much more difficult. Kohanim, the Kohen to perform the ceremony has to have been meticulous about avoiding impurity from proximity to the dead. Kohanim, as a rule, do not enter cemeteries, and there's a problem with hospitals. So they had to find a Kohen who had been born at home, because hospitals have dead bodies, and a baby born in a hospital would have been ritually impure. And he has to never have set foot in a hospital. And he also has to never have entered a cemetery. And that's a little bit harder to find. Also, they needed someone over the age of 15 years old, because slaughtering a cow, a full-grown cow, is physically difficult. So they needed someone who was strong enough to do that. Literally 2 hours ago, 3:30 Israeli time, the Temple Institute announced on Facebook that they have found, and they showed a photo of the young man. I'll post it. And he is, according to them, fit to perform the red heifer ceremony. He's fulfilled all the requirements. He was a home birth, never set foot in a hospital or cemetery. He is on the highest level of Torah purity. It will not happen this Passover. The conference happened. Anyone who said so, anyone who hinted that it might, they are lying.
So whether or not it's going to happen before Passover, I don't know, because these are things that are much higher than my pay grade, as they say. I think it's up to God, not up to us, to decide when it's going to happen. But it could happen. It definitely could happen.
I know it's a horrible thing, and people go, "Oh, this uppity Jew who says Christians don't." They don't understand it. If you'd like, I gave a class on it, a video class. It's an hour and a half. If you can follow that, if you understand it all, I'll put the link below. More power to you. I challenge any of those people who made videos about the red heifer to answer questions about it. And it kind of really is insulting. This is a mitzvah from the Torah that the Jews used to perform. Rabbis have been working on it, and now all of a sudden everyone knows better than the rabbis. Everyone who isn't Jewish, you believe the Muslims, you believe these guys who have never been to Israel, you believe guys who don't speak Hebrew, you believe guys who have never studied the sources. I'm going to put the link to my class about the red heifer. If I'm wrong, please feel free. Write it in the comments. Eliyahu's wrong. So if you think I'm wrong, you have to do two things. One, put a comment saying why I'm wrong. And two, okay, that's fine. But if I'm not wrong and you try to find out if I'm wrong, I require that you put a comment in the videos of the people who say who were lying and say you are lying. This is the chance after 2,000 years to bring back the red heifer, and these evil people are lying about it. Now, isn't that the Antichrist? To lie about the Bible? Yeah, I'm angry. For Christians, Jesus was purified by the ashes of the red heifer. All of his disciples were purified by the ashes of the red heifer. Don't you think it's important that it's done correctly? So all these people are talking about it and don't know. They are the liar that comes before the Messiah. Okay, I think I've been angry enough, okay? If you're going to talk about things having to do with the Bible and Messiah, you should tell the truth. Sorry if I get angry, but this is important. Thank you all very much. Be blessed. And people got to choose which side they're on. I think, in my humble opinion, one of the deciding factors is of where people stand is how they relate to Israel. And I'm not talking about just Jews. I'm seeing that there are a lot of people, it's in an unprecedented way. We see a lot of Christians loving Israel, supporting Israel. And I've also, especially in the last few weeks, seen an incredible amount of what can only be described as semi-subtle anti-Semitism. How dare the Jews do this? What do you care? It's our mitzvah. It has nothing to do with you.
It's becoming less and less subtle by the day.
Exactly. We're being called the Antichrist. We're being the third temple, which is written about in prophecies, is being called the temple of the Antichrist. The red heifer is written explicitly in the book of Numbers, which I believe some Christians still read. That was sarcasm, because I know a lot of very holy Christians who study the Bible intensively. It's a biblical commandment, and people are calling it horrible things and saying it's evil. It is a biblical commandment. You should be so celebrating that it's happening. I'd like to touch on something that
Can I just interrupt for 1 second?
Absolutely.
We according to Jewish tradition, we have 613 commandments. That is for the Jewish people. Non-Jews have 7 commandments. Within the 613 commandments that make us who we are, give us this awesome responsibility that we have to be a light unto the nations. These 613 commandments, most of them are not actually performed today. It's called a korban pasul. It is a disqualified korban, meaning we perform the mitzvah by doing it, but it's not a sacrifice which is accepted. The only way to do that is to do it b'tahara. It has to be done with pure people that have gone through the process with the red heifer, the ashes of the red heifer. And we're looking forward to be able to do that either way, but definitely doing it in a purified state is a much higher level. So whether or not it's going to happen before Passover, I don't know, because these are things that are much higher than my pay grade, as they say. I think it's up to God, not up to us, to decide when it's going to happen. But it could happen. It definitely could happen. And if it does, I think there already is a lot of opposition. But this is not something that we did not anticipate, because thousands of years ago, we were already warned by medieval commentaries, Jewish commentators, like Rashi and the Ramban, that this specific commandment of the red heifer is going to have a lot of opposition, and specifically from the nations. They're going to ask the question, why are we performing this?
Really? That's a midrash. It's in the Gemara.
Rashi mentions it on the pasuk there, and it's also mentioned. The Ramban mentions it, and it was even mentioned at the conference. It was already known that there would be a lot of opposition to this.
I've got to recheck that Rashi. I've got to take.
I'm happy to send it to you. And additionally, as I opened up saying, and I don't think maybe you realize the full extent of what this means. Even if all the nations were on board with this, and the United Nations had a unanimous declaration of the Security Council that we should go ahead and bring the red heifer, the opposition that is going to happen within, this is my speculation, the opposition that is going to happen within the Jewish community is going to be much greater than anything that we're seeing right now coming from outside the community.
I think you're totally right.